Hi, Tiger Nation, and welcome again to Keeping Your Eyes on the Tigers. On December the 3rd in 2005, a Tiger team coached by John Calipari with players like Rodney Carey and I can't get that boy's name right, but Washington and Sean Williams, Chris Douglas Roberts, and Antonio Anderson with Jody Dorsey and Robert Dozier, and if you remember little old Andre Allen. They went into Cincinnati on Cincinnati's home floor and beat them Bearcats 91-81. You know, that team in the season of 05-06, that was one of them great teams that we had. That year, that season, they went 33-4. You know, that was a good. Those were in the days that we had 30+ seasons. You know, and that afternoon belonged to Antonio Anderson. I mean, he went 7 for 9 from the 3-point range. Then he scored 32 points in that game. And Robert Dozier, he had 7 boards. Sean Williams went 3 for 4 from the 3-point range, and he had 19 points. But this was the last time that the Tigers played the Cincinnati Bearcats. That was the last season that the Bearcats were in Conference USA. You know, but that was the last time that they had played. You know, and you know, up until last season, we hadn't seen the Bearcats, and up until last season, when we got into the American Athletic Conference, then we ran into our old rivals. We ran into Cincinnati and we ran into Louisville, and you know. We ran into a buzzsaw last season with Cincinnati. Cincinnati beat us twice. And the only good part of last season dealing with our rivals was we got a chance to beat Louisville's butt twice as well. You know, so that was the good part out of it. But you know, we had lost those two games last season to Cincinnati and so on, you know, so last night the Bearcats, you know, they came into the Forum, you know, and you know, we didn't know what to expect because they come in with a 11-4 record for this season so far, and they even had a 2-1 conference record. So, you know, we didn't know what to happen, and then plus with this season being wild and crazy as it had been, you know, we didn't know who the Tigers were going to be. You know, we had lost that game to Tulane, then we won at Houston. You know, Houston, we beat Houston here, and then we went down there and we lost. We lost to SMU, and then we won Houston again. So we didn't know what kind of team was going to be coming up with the Tigers. But that last game we played against Houston, which was our last game, we beat Houston 62-44, and also in that game, Kedron Johnson, he had a coming out. You know, Johnson has been struggling all season long trying to get back in shape and try to get back in form. And Johnson had a good game against Houston, but we still didn't know what team was going to show up with the Tigers. And so the game yesterday was all right. The Tigers came out in their first half, and they battled with Cincinnati just like the old Tigers used to do. You know, they came out in their first half, and they shot 48% from the floor. They even shot 50% from the three-point range, and you know, they did good. They were 4 for 8 from the three-point range. But that first half belonged to Nicholas. Nicholas had a great first half. Nicholas had 11 points in the first half. And I believe we got a video of this, of a dunk that he did, Nicholas did, and he got an assist from Kedron Johnson. Let's watch this video right quick here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It was a real smooth pass that Kedron did.
Kedron Johnson getting an awful lot of time at the point. That was what he was more. That's what Josh Pastner envisioned when Johnson transferred here. And again, Bears mentioned it. You can see the young man has tremendous skill. He just needs to get himself in shape.
But you know, really, the whole game belonged to Nicholas, and it belonged to Kedron Johnson. You know, Kedron Johnson had a pretty good first half, and that second half was just outstanding. I mean, the Tigers came along, and they really had an outstanding game. Kedron Johnson, he came in and did a magnificent twirl around and did a layup, something that, you know, it put you in the mind of some of them old moves. I hadn't seen a move like that in a while, but it was sweet. And I think we got a clip of that also. Let's watch that right quick.
Woodson, good job penetrating and then backs out. Josh Pastner signaling from the bench. Takes some time to get Johnson. What a beautiful spin! What did I say before? An athlete is an athlete. Yes, sir. And a point guard does things like that to ignite an offense. That's a terrific play. They wanted to run the clock, but the opportunity was there to pirouette. And Josh Pastner is going to tell him you can rest later. Sweet. I mean, for everything other guys have done on this Memphis club tonight, he has been the difference. Oh, absolutely. He has ignited them when they needed a fire put under him. He has made guys better with his passing, and he's taken advantage of opportunities presented to him by a Cincinnati defense that was at times porous, and that was one of those times.
Now, you know, but the Tigers did real good. Kedron Johnson, he played 34 minutes yesterday, and he had 13 points, 5 assists, and he only had 3 turnovers. And Nicholas played for 39 minutes, and he had 17 points. He even had 8 boards, and he had 3 block shots. And Woodson had a good game also. Woodson played for 38 minutes with 14 points, and he was 4 for 7 from the three-point range. Calvin Godfrey, he was good too. Him and Shaq alternated with Nicholas, and he had 8 boards. But overall, the Tigers held Cincinnati to only shooting 36% from the floor. But the Tigers shot 46%, and then they also shot 46% from the three-point range, as well as they shot 68% from the free throw range. You know, I've been noticing that so far the Tigers are really averaging about 66% from the free throw range. You know, they have got to really improve on that. But you know, they had a wonderful game, and they beat Cincinnati by I believe it was by 10 points. Loud, you know, in me getting everything together, I forgot to write the score down as to what the score was, but you can believe they won. I have that for you in the next video. But you know, as I was saying how wild and crazy this season was, as I was saying, all of the power teams that were playing in the American Athletic Conference from last season, they're not there. You know, UConn was on top. As a matter of fact, UConn won the tournament for last season. UConn is 2-2 in conference play, as where Cincinnati is 2-2. Those were your two top teams. Well, I forgot Louisville was in there, but Louisville is gone now. And now Memphis is tied with Temple and Tulane at 3-2 in conference play. But the newcomer, Tulsa's gonna come in, and Tulsa is 4-0. They are sitting on top of the pole in the conference, and SMU is they are 4-1, so they're in second place. But you know, this year we don't know who's really got all of the power, because now with the way that the Tigers are playing, I was saying last time that Coach was sitting on the hot seat. Well, you know, Coach is still sitting on the hot seat. But that game that we played yesterday was one of those games of, oh, you know, they really look good. And if Coach keep, which I really believe he will, because Pookie Powell only played for about 5 minutes in that game yesterday, and he sat on the bench the rest of the time, and the rest of the time it was Kedron Johnson running the show, and Kedron really ran the show. It was a wonderful game. I really love to see him in that point guard position. But next game that we will have, which will be Saturday, that's tomorrow from this recording here, we'll be playing Central Florida. We'll be playing them here on our home floor too. So let's keep them Tigers lifted up. I mean, they really look like they're coming on back. They are doing wonderful, and who knows, we may go ahead on and take over first place in this season. But let's keep them lifted up and keep your eyes on the Tigers. Bye now.